Let's go. And let's start this. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Chat with a Rat is back with episode 3. Corey Hillyard. Say hello, Corey.
Hello, world.
I forgot to get my notepad with questions in it, so hold on one second.
All right, I'll do an advertisement for our new sponsor. This is Starlight, limited edition Coca-Cola. It is space flavored, people. Really excited to go to outer space tonight and drink 21 milligrams of caffeine at 9 p.m. on a Sunday, 8:30 on a Sunday. Doing it for Jesus.
Yes. You hear that, Coke? Pay this man. All right.
Yeah.
See if you can figure out what the flavor is for that.
I think it's just vanilla Coke.
I don't think so. I think I know what the flavor is, but I'm not positive. I think the flavor might be cotton candy.
Oh, now I'm feeling it. Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's vanilla. It's like they use vanilla Coke in this, but I can feel the cotton candy now a little bit.
Yeah. You might be right, because I was saying that I think that there's something else in it also, so that might be what it is.
Yeah, I'll let them sponsor me. So it was really great that our agents ran into each other at the DeSantis rally and set this up for us.
Yeah. Worked out beautifully. Alright, so I'll start off with the same question I ask everyone first. How long have you been doing comedy for?
I am, I think I'm almost at 1 year now. I started, I want to say, a few days before the last 420. It was close to 420 because I had 420 jokes. So, yeah, we're about a month out now from it being a year. So, 11 months, folks.
Nice.
I'm in here.
Okay, so what's your favorite place to do stand-up at?
I gotta say probably Laugh Out Lounge right now. And probably I would imagine a lot of people are saying that. It's just a good room and...
It brings in a lot of people. Every week there's people from like Orlando and Tampa coming out to it.
That's why I like too. We get some of the Orlando comics and it's just a good conductive room for comedy. Like I just feel a certain energy when I'm in there and like every set I've had there has been very comfortable and just everything flows and I feel very good up there.
Yeah.
So,
I also am a fan, but I haven't been out of town to do many other ones, so of course I'm a fan of that one. Have you been out to Orlando at all and done any?
I haven't yet. From what I've been hearing, the one at the Orlando Improv is supposed to be pretty decent. Yeah. And then I still haven't really heard much else. And I don't like going to Orlando.
Yeah, me either.
Everybody's just like, yeah, just keep going to Tampa. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I want to go out to Orlando and try it out, but yeah, I haven't either. The only one I've even heard about, like people that I actually know that have done, is that one that you were saying, the Orlando Improv one. What is it called? Like
it has the word fish in it.
Yeah, Fat Fish Blue or something.
I think it's Fat Fish Blue.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've talked to a few people that have done that one, so maybe I'll try to go out and do it sometime. But I agree with you. I don't like going to Orlando either. It's just such a pain. So what's your least favorite place to do comedy at?
Least favorite? Probably, and it's not a place, it'll never happen again, but I tried to do, remember when somebody advertised that there was going to be an open mic at a Sonic Drive-In in Newport Richie?
Yeah, did you do that?
Well, I went out there. And I guess there was some district manager at Sonic that cut it at the end. There's no, we can't do this. People won't be able to hear the orders and stuff. And then the kid that tried to set it up just ran an extension cord from that Sonic to the outside of a Little Caesars that was closed down. And we were in the dark, and it was young college kids, and I think there was a 6-year-old and a family, and just in a parking lot doing an open mic.
Wow.
It was, it was, but you know what? When you like, that's one of my goals of comedy is to just do obscure shit and have stories about it.
Yeah,
like, so that's.
It's all. Yeah, it always makes for a good story.
I'll definitely give it that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really think of a least favorite. Like, I used to hate Union Hall until like my last showcase there. Then I'm like, now I like Union Hall.
Oh yeah.
They laughed at me, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I went the very first time I was ever gonna try to do stand-up, try to do an open mic. I actually went to Union Hall because they had it still listed on whatever, and so I showed up there on, I don't remember, like a Thursday, whatever day they said that they used to do it on, and I went there and I took me and Makara went, and it was, I think it was the first date we went on, and I was like, hey, you want to try to go over this open mic and like see me do a comedy or whatever? And she was like, yeah. So we went over to it, and when I showed up, it was just me and her and the bartender, and that was it. There was no one else there, and they had this like a big screen down, and they were playing like baseball or something on it. I was like, okay, I don't think they're doing an open mic here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I must have just missed the boat on that one.
That happened in the beginning to us too. We had a couple Thursdays where it was supposed to be both Lakeland Live and Union Hall were going to be doing one, and then we'd go to Lakeland Live and there'd be a sign out on the door saying we're not doing open mic tonight. Then we go to Union Hall and there's like an event going on. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. The week before that, I was going to try to do it, and me and my friend Will, I went over to his house because he lives in like right downtown, like real close to Lakeland Live. So I went to his house, and me and him walked up to Lakeland Live, and I was going to do an open mic there. And it was like you said, there was no one there. It wasn't even open. It was just closed. I was like, okay. So it was like 2 weeks in a row. Like I showed up to do an open mic and there was no one there. But yeah, so. All right. At what point would you consider yourself, or just in general, would you consider someone to be a successful comedian?
I think that's kind of like a personal thing almost with people. Like, I mean, if somebody just honestly wants to be like a weekend feature and earns like 20% of their income doing comedy and they do that and they feel successful, that's great. I mean, especially with where we're at right now, like to even make like $20 to go up and do 10 minutes is like a nice little rush.
Yeah.
And then there's like the other side of the coin is like, I mean, there's comedians out there that are so rich and like so out of touch that I don't consider that successful anymore.
I agree. Yeah.
I like the comedians that still like will go out and about amongst the people, because that's like where you have to find that human thing that like brings the people together to get them laughing. And once you start getting out of touch with that, it gets tough.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like some people, like you're saying, are so rich and so successful. I feel like that comes through a lot of times, like in their comedy. It's almost like they start becoming less funny, like maybe because they just don't have real life experience to write about anymore or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Once they stop shitting on being like successful and rich, then it gets scary. Like they just get to a point where they don't even make fun of how rich they are anymore. I'm like, okay, they've lost it. That's about all you get. That's the end of that line, is like when you can just shit on yourself and like, I don't know, be ironic with it. Like, I don't know. It's scary. Like, a guy like Stephen Colbert was one of the funniest guys in the world 20 years ago. And to see where he is now. Unless you want to have me on your show.
Let's see here. I'll move on. There was something I was going to add to that, but now I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
So how did you end up working at Side Splitters? That's where you work at, right?
Yeah, it was just like a weird circumstantial thing with like all the stars aligning all at once. So this would have been back around last August or September. My day job, I work at a pool cleaning store. So we were getting, and I was making, still there. At the peak of summer, I was making good enough money to where I was actually going to be able to afford like a 1-bedroom in like downtown Lakeland. So I was starting to save up money, get all that in line, and then like once the store started slowing down, getting into the colder months, they just started cutting our hours out of nowhere, and I was like, shit, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then my roommate at the time, he was fixing to move. I was living in South Lakeland. And I was driving to North Lakeland to work, so it was like 45 minutes each way. It was a pain in the ass. I have a buddy in Wesley Chapel that works at that Pinch a Penny, and he's like, and then also his girlfriend I'm really close friends with. I actually met him through her, but now I'm like really good friends with him. He was like, yeah, it's the same amount of time to come from Wesley Chapel. We have an extra room at our house. And then that was right when that Grove Theater was opening the Side Splitters there. So I was like, I'm going to just DM the Side Splitters and see if I can get a job there. And it just organically, they're like, yeah, we're still hiring. I met BT, who's like the owner now, I think, of all the Side Splitters. Really cool guy. And he just got me started at the Wesley Chapel one. It's a really cool spot.
And what is it that you do there?
So I started in box, and I'm still only box right now because I can't find anyone else.
So is that
do box?
Is that selling tickets and stuff?
Yeah, and it's in. So this comedy club is actually in a big ass movie theater. So imagine the Cobb renting out one theater room to and having it be only a comedy club.
Okay.
That's what that setup's like.
So it's like a theater.
Yeah.
It's like a huge area.
Exactly. So I'm in the box office, and I have all these signs that says I'm Side Splitters only. Don't come to me for movie tickets. And 90% of what I say is just movie tickets over there. It's just everybody like, can I see Garfield 5? And I'm like, God damn it! Like, no. Like, I have 9 signs. Stop it.
That's great. Have you done a mic there, or do they have open mics there?
They do. They're very random and sporadic. They have one this coming Friday at 9:30. If you're able to make that work, you should try to get on that list.
Fridays usually, yeah.
Last one I did, they had somebody that was kind of supposed to feature that weekend, and she, for whatever reason, couldn't fit in. So they're like, "Hey, we'll give you 10 minutes of this open mic." Instead, and she drew a crowd of like 70 people. She probably drew like 50 of it. So it ended up being like doing open mic for 70 people. That's like that's kind of a big deal at our level. So
for sure.
That was cool, and it's a good room. It's weird because it's a theater room. So if you don't fill up the first 3 rows, you just feel like you're bombing because you only see the lighting is so bright. You don't see past the first 3 rows. You don't hear anything past the first 3 rows. Like you could literally put 70 people in the back, no one in the front, and you would feel like you were bombing. We didn't realize that at first when we were doing the open mic. So everybody was spread out, and these really good comedians would be ending their sets short because they were like upset.
Right, yeah.
And then then one week they're like they blocked off the back and made people fill up the front first, and it's been a hit since then. I would say
nice.
It's been good. So I recommend going out there.
Cool. You're gonna do it this Friday? The open mic there?
I am, and like honestly, the first time I did one there, I felt like I bombed pretty hard. It was my first time doing anything in the Tampa scene. I wanted to like be cool, and like I wanted people to like walk up to me and be like, "Who are you?" And like I was the 15th out of 15 comics, and it was such a long night. And there were some really bad comedians in the middle, and they walked like the whole crowd.
By the time
I went up, like half the crowd was left. There were people literally sleeping in the audience because we started, I want to say, like at 8:30 or 9, and just felt horrible up there, and just kind of felt like I tried to talk to a couple of the Tampa comics. I felt like I kind of got blown off. Now everybody's really cool with me. Now I've done enough and I've gotten to know them. Yeah. So like honestly, it feels kind of cool in a way to get blown off at first, but then like earn their respect.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm glad it happened that way. Everyone in Lakeland was nice to begin with.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I did a open mic at the Tampa Improv like a couple weeks ago, and that's kind of how it was. Like with like there was more than 15 comics. I don't even know how many there were. There was probably like 20 something. It was crazy. Like they just kept calling names, and I was like, how many people are they gonna call? You know, like and I was one of the last people they called. But it was funny because I was one of the first people there. When I showed up, it was just like the bartender, like the door guy, and I think there was like one other person standing there or something. But I went in and put my name on the list, and I guess they just kind of do it randomly there. Or somebody was saying something like they pull like the names out of a bucket as they're going. I don't know, but I was there though, and I ran into like a couple people that I know from LOL. They were out there, and like one dude was sitting with me at the table, and we were like watching, like, and it was a good crowd, like, the dude like was like, dude, you're gonna kill it up there tonight, like in front of this crowd, because like people were doing pretty good, like, and he was like, you're gonna kill it in front of this crowd tonight, and I was like, I know, I'm excited, dude, like this is gonna be good, by the time they called me, it was like you said too. Like there was a couple comedians that got up there and just started walking people. Like it was horrible. It was painful, dude. And I was like, no, like come back. Like, but yeah, like so by the time I got up there, it went from being like a crowd of like, I don't know, probably like 50 people in there to being like probably like 10 people left by the time and I was like, damn it, dude. So I don't know, it was still fun. Like I'm still glad that, you know, I got because I heard some people have gone up there and just completely don't get to go up at all because it's just too late or whatever. So I'm glad I at least got to go up, but yeah, I was kind of bummed that it was so late. There was hardly anyone there.
Yeah, it's always rough following. Like I followed some of the worst comics. I think the worst set I've seen I followed, and it was this Puerto Rican guy that used the N-word like way too many. I mean, once was probably too many. This guy just thought like he had some right to do it, and it was just so comfortable. Just R's, A's, just wow. And I could just see the whole room was just like, I haven't seen him in months, thank God.
Yeah.
But like, I think I had to follow him twice. Like, I think my first two Grove mics, I had to follow him. I'm like, this is not. And he like calls out crowd. He just heckles the crowd while he's up there. It's just, it's not good. And I think so many bad comedians are just so not self-aware. They just don't understand that they're not that funny to like anyone.
And it's usually like, not only are they not funny, but they're usually like very like rude and like abrasive and offensive. Like, it's like they don't understand that like offensive does not equal funny. Like it definitely comedy can be offensive, and sometimes it's funnier if it is, but it has to be funny first.
There has to be a creative way to get to that borderline offensive thing.
Yeah, a reason why it's offensive. Like but yeah, there was a guy at the Improv that night that got up there, and it was almost pretty similar to that. Like, he was just saying all this stuff, and I was like, bro, read the room. Because, like, everyone in the room was just like, oh, like, groaning, hated this guy, like, hated him, dude. Like, and that guy walked a bunch of them. There was people that straight up got up and left. I was like, Jesus, dude, somebody pull this guy off the fucking stage. Yeah, it was horrible. I don't know. Yeah, I've seen a few people do shit like that, though. It's crazy to me. So, what do you think the worst set you've ever performed was? Like, the worst you've ever done?
So, if you take the crowd out, because sometimes you just have a bad set because the crowd's not into it for whatever reason, and then sometimes you just have to look at it and be like, okay, I'm not going to change anything because this went bad. That was because I feel like there's good comedians that get rid of good jokes because of experiences like that. I'm never going to let that happen to me.
Yeah, I agree. There's been nights that I have gone up and it didn't go that great, and but I was still happy with it because I'm like, well, I did good. You know, like I did a good job, and then like it didn't go over great, but you know, there's a few people that liked it or whatever, or like maybe there just wasn't many people there or whatever, but like I was still happy with it because I'm like, I feel like I did a good job. So like, you know, like you said, like I'm not gonna like get rid of these jokes or anything. I think I know they work because they've worked, you know, in front of other people many times, you know. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, back to.
And I feel like you're probably self-aware enough with your writing. You know what's good and what's not. So
yeah,
I think when you're a little bit better on the writing side, you can look at something and be like, no, I'm not going to scrap that. That the crowd probably just didn't get it. And I've been in front of crowds that just never got my humor, and it sucks.
There definitely are jokes where I write them and I'm like, I think this is funny, but I don't know if other people will think it's funny or not. So like those ones I'll try out. I'll usually try them twice. Like I'll try it, and if it goes bad the first time, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do it again at the next one. Like I'll just like throw it in there somewhere, you know, and see how it goes. And if it does poorly 2 times in a row, I'll be like, okay, that was funny, but probably not that good.
And with that too, I look at it, how comfortable am I saying this the first time? If I do a joke for the first time, I'm just so comfortable with it, and I know I can go places with it. Like it's just a keeper, even if it didn't work the way I intended to the first time. I just find ways to make it better, and that excites me. Anytime, and that's one of the things I think I don't want to say I struggle with it, but when I do a new joke for the first time, I just have this like honesty and like effort and feeling behind it that I can't replicate afterwards. It's so hard to find that again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but at the same time, sometimes after you tell a joke so many times, then you get it to a point where it's funnier than it was before, because you figure out how exactly to deliver that.
Yeah, where to use inflection. And I will say that Epperson Lagoon was kind of my experiment with like I'm going to do the same set like 50 times.
Yeah.
How good can I make it?
Right.
And I'm not done with it yet. I'm definitely not. But I just took a little break. I got to the point where I was like, I need to do new jokes.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, absolutely. I always do that, and sometimes like to my own what's the word for it? Like my own like demise or whatever. I would have done better if I just stuck to doing the same thing. But I personally just get bored with it. I'm like, I'm not just gonna go up there and tell the same jokes again. Like I'm tired of doing that.
Yep.
Like I want to do something different.
Yep.
So I'll get up there and end up like telling like a bunch of new stuff that I'm not even sure about.
Yeah, exactly. But it feels good doing it. I don't know why. It's like, because we started comedy in the first place to try certain jokes, and then I've always just kind of had that with me.
Yeah.
Like, I can only go so long with where it's like I need to have that feeling again of just putting that thing out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
like a lot of times I'll write enough material probably to do at least like a full like 5-minute set. Like that week, I'll have like a bunch of new jokes that I have written and stuff, but I'll usually show up and like maybe like start telling a couple of those jokes, and if it doesn't seem like it's going great, I'll just like, okay, I'll just go to the stuff that I know that works.
And it's nice to have that material you can just kind of lean back onto and whenever you feel like, and that's the best thing about being prepared is like I like being prepared enough to where when I go off script, like I have all the energy to like in that moment. Cause back to this question you asked like 8 minutes ago. So some of my worst sets, thinking about now, probably the last, not the last showcase I did, but the 2 before it. I just fell into this thing like, so the first 2 showcases I did, I think I got really lucky and they went over well. I remember watching one of the videos, there was like this moment 3 minutes in where like I almost didn't know what to say, and then out of nowhere I said the funniest thing I said the whole night. And then everything just completely went good again. The crowd started laughing too hard that like I left at like 6 minutes. I didn't know really how to deal with that. So that was weird. And then I think my that was my second or third showcase at Pink Piano, and then probably a few months later, I did a couple more. I did one at Union Hall, and I just went up there not committed, not prepared, and I just felt like hollow up there. I felt like the crowd wasn't into everybody either. And it was just that I don't know, I'm okay bombing at an open mic, but when it gets to a point where people go out and pay money, I feel like I owe it to them to like be better. Yeah,
not only to them, but also to the people that put you on the show. I know last night I did, 2 shows. I did Union Hall, and then I did Pink Piano afterwards.
Yeah, how did those go, by the way?
Pink Piano went good, but so Union Hall, like I was the first, comedian. Lonnie got up there because he's the host. But then I went like after him, and so at first I thought it was just the microphone in general, but apparently I guess they were saying that there was an issue with like maybe one of the monitors on stage or something. I don't know, because I guess everyone else, it sounded fine, but like to you standing on stage, like whenever I was on stage, the mic kept like cutting out.
Oh, I've had that before.
Yeah, so I would be like telling a joke and I get to the punchline, and it happened like 2 jokes in a row. Like I get to the punchline, I like say the punchline, and it's just like dead air. Like, and so I was just like, fuck, man. Like I was like, this is awful. Like, so I ended up like bailing on a bunch of jokes. Like there was like 2 jokes I started telling, and then like I heard the mic cut out, and I was just like, okay, moving on anyways, and then just like went on to the next joke. And there's a bunch of jokes I just didn't even tell. That's
tough because it's only cutting out on your end and not there, so you can't even make a joke about how you're cut off because they don't even hear that. And then you're not aware that they're hearing you, and you probably could have just kept going.
And I feel like I made myself look like an idiot too, because I said like 2 or 3 times something about, I was like, man, this mic sucks, like talking about how terrible the mic was because it kept cutting out. But like I said, I guess to them, they didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're just hearing
like,
a guy
coherently. Like, what is this guy talking about, Even like the sound person, like at one point was like, we can hear you, bro. I'm like, well,
They just like hear the clearest, this mic sucks.
I was like, oh my god, I look like an idiot. But and like my girlfriend like came out last night and brought I think like four of her friends to come see me, and I'm like, oh no. But I don't know. Some of them came over to see me at Pink Piano afterwards, and I did okay on that one. So.
Nice. Did it make Did it make you like nervous that she brought friends at all? Or?
No, I was excited to perform for them.
Nice.
But I felt like sick to my stomach though. Like whenever I was up there and that started happening, I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me, dude. Like. Yeah. But whatever, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, and you live and you learn.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
That shit's gonna happen forever, even at like the biggest levels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh god, we had a night at Side Splitters. I was doing sound, so I've also moved on to sound.
Okay.
But then as soon as I moved to sound, like the other box office girl quit, so I'm back in the box.
Nice.
But there was a night with the sound god. The manager, bless his heart, this guy Vinny, great guy, decided to like try to set some stuff up for me before to like help me out, and I wasn't aware he did a certain thing a certain way, and the comedians weren't getting any sound at all out there. So when the show started, the mic wasn't working, and it took like an extra 20 minutes to figure it out, and I had like kind of a little panic attack. And then once the show started going, I was like fucking up people's entrance music and hitting stuff at the wrong time, and just having a nightmare of a time. And then
so that's why you're back in the box.
No, I came back. I did okay, and actually the comedians thought it was funny. They just made fun of me. Like the host was like, "I'm so sorry for saying all those things about you." It's like I couldn't even hear them because I couldn't even fucking get the mic to work. But no, she was really cool, and they were all great. That stuff sometimes. I feel like comedians like it when things go a little wrong because it gives you something to make fun of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Especially if it's not you that's doing the wrong
Exactly.
thing.
You could just shit on this person that you probably like.
I love that. Okay. All right. So, would you ever want to be the comedian for a cruise?
Fuck. If they could like helicopter me in for my set and then immediately get me off.
No.
I don't want to be on the cruise. I don't want to stay on the cruise.
No.
Like I've never been on the cruise, but I don't like claustrophobia. I don't like a lot of people in smaller places. I can only deal with so much of that. Which is funny. My favorite types of rooms to perform in are like that. So maybe I would like performing on the cruise. But yeah, there's a few cruise comedians that are doing really well, and usually when they come back they get big crowds just from what
and I've
draw.
heard that it pays really good too.
Yeah.
And you know, I've never been on a cruise, but I've always wanted to go on a cruise my whole life. Like so I think that'd be awesome to like be on, just like you just chill on a cruise all day, and then they're like, oh, it's time for work. You're just gonna tell jokes for a while. I think it'd be amazing, but I could be horribly wrong. I might absolutely hate it.
I could be wrong too. I could end up liking it. Like I just picture me getting on there being sweaty and uncomfortable the whole time, like getting food poisoning on stage and just like
have to perform anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would still probably given the opportunity. I will do your cruise. Just throwing that out there. I'll even do fishing boats.
Fair enough. So this is a question I ask everyone because I think it's funny. Who is the worst comedian that you know personally?
It was that Puerto Rican. I should have just waited for you to ask that, but it was definitely that guy. I'll try to find another one just for the sake of giving some variety, but there was that one kid at Laugh Out Lounge. He hasn't been back. He wore like kind of like those sunglasses on stage. And it was really tough to watch because he would just forget and just sit there in silence. And I think he's stewing in all of it. He knows what's going on.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like I want everyone to do well that tries comedy, but it sucks to watch. Like I don't know. It just sucks to watch that sometimes.
So. Before he went up, he came up to me and I was standing outside smoking, and he came up to me and was like, just like kind of like bullshit with me, like, hey, what's up, man, blah, 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 like talking to me. So, you know, and I was talking to him or whatever, you know, just like, yeah, hey, how's it going, blah, blah, like, oh, you're going up tonight? He's like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah. I was like, cool, man, all right, yeah, I'll be in there, you know, whenever I was like, what number are you, blah, blah, blah. Like, all right, I'll be sure to be in there, I'll catch it, you know. And then when he got up there, I was like, bruh, I hope nobody saw me talking to that guy.
Yeah, that was my best friend. We run jokes by each other. I help him write a lot.
Right. I swear to God, I don't know him. I did not bring him. That was brutal.
That just makes you look humble in my book. Like, look at Malachi just talking to the little guys.
God, that was...
Yeah.
That was one to remember. I don't think I'll ever forget that.
But that's what we need to see as confidence boosters too. Just wait till you see a headliner that you feel like you know you're better than. Like I'm starting to see that now over at because we don't get the A headliners at the Grove. We get like I would say 95% of the comedians we get I've never heard of until that weekend, and I would say 80% or more of the time they turn out to be really good, and I follow them and I like become fans. So it's a cool experience with that.